My name is Sarah Johnson and I attend Ellenbrook Christian College. Tonight I'm going to talk about racism. In order to do so, I think it is really fundamentally important that we have a very strong definition of exactly what racism is. Many people consider racism simply to be the age-old hatred between black and white people in the past, but this is not the case. The Oxford Dictionary describes racism as prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race, based upon the belief that one's own race is superior. But how do we even define race? Our own government this year, on Harmony Day, defined race as a term applied to people purely because of the way they look. Therefore, I would like to extend my speech to something very close to my heart: discrimination against people of different cultures and beliefs. Now, this includes race, language, nationality, and religion. Really, we should have laws such as the Cultural Discrimination Act. Racism does not widely differ from any other kind of discrimination, because both are deadly and both hinder the development of a nation. So therefore, I would like to pose the question: what makes a nation strong? I believe it to be the unification of cultures and the abolition of prejudice. At my school, I'm in King House, named after Martin Luther King Jr. For me, Martin Luther King Jr. is one of those inspirational figures that I can't seem to get out of my head. Every time I hear his name, I'm reminded of his plight for freedom for the oppressed African Americans. When he stated that he had a dream, he changed the mindset in America. He gave hope to the African Americans. Today we revere such people as Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela because they opened our eyes to the truth that we cannot stand strong unless we stand together. Unfortunately, despite our reverence for such figures, I find there is still racism witnessed in Australia. In an article by The Age, a race discrimination commissioner wrote that the recent Challenging Racism project saw that 20% of Australians have recently experienced race hate talk. Now, I actually say this to encourage, not criticize. I congratulate Australia for its multiculturalism policy of 1971, and I am thankful for such laws as the Racial Discrimination Act of 1975. I truly am inspired by the Snowy Mountains scheme, in which Australians and immigrants alike learn to work together in bettering the economy of Australia. Languages and cultures that had just years before been at war. Yet I'm convinced that our laws against racism can never fully be adhered to until every single person here makes a decision for themselves to be accepting of other cultures. Personally, I am very privileged. I have traveled quite extensively and witnessed many cultures, having been born in South Africa and having lived in the UK, the Middle East, and now Australia. I wonder sometimes where I'm from. My family jokes that we are citizens of the world, but the truth is that we are just appreciators of diversity and nationality. In my mind, racism just doesn't make sense. God created us all to be unique and every single country to be divergent. I have learned so much from my friends in the Middle East who are from many different countries. Recently, we hosted a French exchange student, and once again, my eyes were opened to how beneficial knowledge of others' cultures becomes. We had a traditional South African barbecue, and it was interesting to see that she was shocked to see how much meat we ate, and we were surprised to see how much bread she ate in French. My fellow students, I encourage you to embrace other cultures as much as you can. And it doesn't just have to be traveling. Learn a new language, befriend immigrants. I promise you, you will grow to have a wider worldview. And differing worldviews are what makes democracy successful. So I would even like to therefore be so bold as to suggest that learning about other nationalities will make you a better citizen. As the famous musician Sting said, we share the same biology, regardless of ideology. In history classes this year, I learned that racism is destructive. Hitler and their Nazis, in their attempt to create a pure Aryan race, ruthlessly murdered 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. Now I ask you, is this what you want for your country? Is this what you want for Australia? A diverse nation prospers, but a racist country deteriorates. In order for us to have a nation that we can be proud of, we must first realize that every nation is of importance and worth. Tonight I ask you to look beyond yourself and to imagine a world where equality is universal, and every culture's voice is heard. Because if racism is abolished, this is the amazing reality we will face. Parents, is this not the best environment to raise your children? So the question remains, how can you be your own superhero? Well, simply by following in the footsteps of all the other great superheroes before you. Fight for justice. Fight to abolish racism. I'd like to quickly close with a Bible verse from Revelation 7, verse 9. It says, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne, standing before the Lamb of God.